There we are. Game over. 100 momentous years ago, years have passed, and we have entered the modern age. The world is a radically different place. How did your country do? Let's first, before clicking quit, we need to take a look at a lot of shit, though. Because we can check out essentially what the world ended up looking like as a whole. All right. Well, first, I obviously, we should check out the scores, like top 10 in a way. As a whole rank, United States was the first one. UK was the second one. We were the third. Not by that much, but much more. Like, the United States was by far number one. Then France, quite a bit farther off from us. China ended up becoming a great power. And, you know, despite everything we did to it. And, yeah, now they have 2,000 score. Mostly from military and industry, so they're scary as fuck. Russia, below that, but their industry is just very, very, like, you know, subpar. Germany, under that, but that's only because they got, you know, sort of fucked up quite a bit. And Japan is below that, again, mostly because they're getting fucked up by a lot of stronger people. And below that, the fucking Netherlands and the Swedes, who have been incredibly annoying like this entire time. After that, the top 20 includes Belgium, Australia, who's annoying, Mexico, which is an empire and under the French, and which has about the same industry as the Ruskies, and half the military power of China, which is, yeah, it's because they have a lot of capital ships. Okay, they're the 9th strongest military. And they're led by the liberals, so they're a constitutional monarchy. Canada, the Italian Republic, Norway, Spain, fucking Spain under German sphere, fucking South Africa, Switzerland, and the Ottomans. Huh, the Ottomans are still an absolute monarchy. They have a lot of soldiers, but not much of anything else. And then after that, you start to get into the really minor people. How the fuck is Krakow? Krakow alone has 100 industry. Now, Krakow, it's insane that it's survived this entire time. Wait. Yeah, look at that. Now, Krakow alone has 100 industry. Like, Krakow alone has more... Well, yeah. Just... The Russians have 265 and Krakow has 100. That's insane. So yeah, a bit of the Polish dream right there. Then Ireland. Fucking Ireland. Luxembourg. Amazing. Yugoslavia. Yeah, the Balkans. We're going to need to take a look at those Balkans in a bit because they've been insane this game. Romania, who's fascist, under a constitutional monarchy. So they elected the fascists. That must have meant that they got beaten up a bunch, because people become more fascist the more revanchism you have, and revanchism is like a value. If you take a look in politics, once you lose wars, you get revanchism, and if you have more revanchism, people become more fascist. Anyway, where's the score? Yeah, where were we? Romania, Brazil. Brazil did really badly, it seems. They're only number 26, below Luxembourg. Although Luxembourg, yeah, a lot of that score is coming from prestige. Portugal, Poznan, yeah, just, you know. Let's check out Asia. Asia by score. We did number 1 in Asia, then China, then Japan. China overtook Japan. That's quite awesome. Manchukuo below that, and Tianjin concessions, and then all the other Asian countries are just not very happy. Okay, in terms of Europe, who did the best? The UK, unsurprisingly first, France second, Russia third, Germany fourth. That's really not something you see every day, honestly. Now, let's check out the ledger. No, that's menu. Ledger. Now, the ledger is a thing that we didn't use that gives you a bunch of stats on the game, which is quite awesome. Like the score, you can check it out. Like, for example, you can see that the Americans are cool. Now, actually, which countries are the most prestigious? The fucking UK, us, Norway, Sweden. Norway and Sweden most likely from a lot of techs that give prestige. France, Luxembourg, United States, Belgium, Krakow. Interesting. Krakow is insanely strong. And in terms of military score, obviously we were number first. Then Russia, the USA, China, and France. Man, France. Honestly, France doing so well is not something I see every day in this game. They usually just get stomped by Germany. Then, other than nation ranking, you can see also various stats, such as literacy. So you can say, for example, Iceland is independent, apparently. Oh, they're a satellite of Denmark. Is Norway independent or a satellite of Denmark? Oh, Norway is allied to the Russians. Huh, so they're actually at war with us right now. Didn't even notice. Oh yeah, right, we had the Norwegian invasion of Libya, I remember. Anyway. Back to ledger. So you see literacy. Obviously, you know, smaller countries generally get a lot of literacy done. But like, for example, Germany with 65 million pops, so that's like what? 120, 180 plus... That's 195 million people? That's... Maybe pops are like 2 people per pop. Because there ain't no way that Germany is supposed to have 180,000 or 180 million people. Man, apparently... Oh, no, okay. China's the most populous, and they have 419 million. Oh, no, okay, this one already calculates for things. So, like, for example, you can see that our population over here is 405 million, and here it's 101. Oh, so actually it's more like 4 people per pop. Okay, so... Okay, I see. 4 people per pop. So, yeah, for example, you see that, like, more populous countries generally tend to have less educated people, except, like, the United States of America, but that's because they have, like, a lot of money to throw at education. And because they can educate them gradually, because the United States at the beginning of the game starts with, like, very little manpower, very little population. They mostly just end up migrating to there. And the colonial countries also may look like they have a relatively high literacy, but that's not because they're educating their people in the colonies. It's because literacy only counts states and not colonial provinces. Colonial provinces do not matter when it comes to your literacy. So, like, for example, East Borneo over here counts towards the Netherlands' literacy score just as much as Holland, but Dutch West Java doesn't count. So there might be like a very, very low literacy over here, and it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. So our literacy, for example, as well, is a bit skewed because of that. It's a bit higher than it should be because there's a lot of states in our country that haven't been fully stated up. Russia has the most brigades. Who's got the most ships? We do. Greatest navy in the world. India rules the waves. Who's got the most provinces? Oh, obviously the Russians, right? The most factories, obviously the USA. Now, factories and industry score are 2 different things. So, like, for example, you can see that our factory count is quite a bit low compared to others, but our industrial score is number 4. While our factory count, we are 3, 6, 7. We're number 7. That's because we have more larger factories. Yeah. Ottoman Empire has a lot of population. And that's without any colonies. Most of the population from, like, the UK and the Netherlands is colonies. And then you can see the political systems, like which national values are around. We actually never got to change our national value for some reason. I don't exactly know what would even be our national value. I need to find our country first now. No, it's not. We're socialists, so let's see if we figure in the socialist list. The socialist list. Our national value is order, apparently. Yeah. You can check out the government types, so whether they're republics, dictatorships. Oh, there's actually one bourgeois dictatorship. There's one theocracy, which is obviously Tibet. A few semi-constitutional monarchies. Japan being the prominent one there. Then a bunch of republics, many more republics than usual. So we'll check that out in a bit. Quite a few proletarian dictatorships. Oh, actually only 3 proletarian dictatorships, and Nejd, El Salvador, and Nicaragua. So communism didn't really do all that well. No Soviet Union. A few presidential dictatorships, obviously Argentina, Bolivia, Peru. China, obviously Beiyang, China, figures quite prominently among those. Haiti and Ecuador. Yeah, so South American countries and China are presidential dictatorships. Then we have fascist dictatorships: Xinjiang, Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea, North Yemen, and Egypt. Yeah, this is why I love the Ledger. You can see just really, really cool shit. Like, for example, fucking random Egypt somehow managing to survive and turning fascist. And then Papua New Guinea fucking rising out of nowhere and becoming a fascist dictatorship. I don't know. Yeah, fascism also didn't really have its big, like, moments. Definitely no Germany or Italy. It is very possible that after what we did to the Germans, they might, like, turn to... Yeah, look at that. They have, like, 25, 28 to 30% fascists everywhere. And that would only be growing. That would only be growing. So, like, yeah, the Germans would probably get pretty cocked. Oh, the Russians did manage to get Kaliningrad at one point. So yeah, if we played a little bit longer, if we had the opportunity to do that, we might see a Nazi Germany. Yeah, and oh shit, right. Then there's a few dominions which are just British things. I don't even know what Samos is. Then there's a bunch of obviously constitutional monarchies. That's just most of the countries that start as one, though. Yeah, nothing particularly cool in that regard. But what's been cooler, honestly, in this game has been the republics. Like, you can see Uruguay, Italian Republic, United States of America. A lot of the New World countries, it's understandable. But, like, Ireland, Italy, Germany, Siam, Portugal, United Arab Emirates Republic, Poznan, India, definitely. Yeah, those ones you just never almost see. These, never almost see that. Also, you can check out which ideologies did the best. So, like, for example, you can see that there's one bourgeois dictatorship, which is Honduras. And they're anarcho-liberal. Now, what bourgeois dictatorship in this game means is ANCAP, essentially. Like, radical democracy. Oh, was it Honduras? Yeah, Honduras. Although, they don't have any industry, so they haven't been doing the best at being an ANCAP paradise. So we have one ANCAP paradise. We also had the ANCAPs ruling at one point, if you remember, but it was through an election and not through... What happens with bourgeois dictatorship is if the, like, Jacobins take over from a normal republic, or... Yeah, no, if you become a normal republic and you get anarcho-liberal rebels and they take over. It's a bit insane. Then you have a couple of proletarian dictatorships doing their job. Fucking Nejd proletarian dictatorship, that's just so great. Obviously a million conservative countries, that's just the generally most popular ideology. Quite a few fascist ruling parties, like for example Bulgaria, the United Arab Emirates, Croatia fascist, right, we saw that earlier. Then Romania that we saw earlier. They don't have fascist dictatorship government types, but they have ruling fascist parties. So that's kind of representing, like, for example, Italy, where at the beginning the fascists took over in just the normal constitutional order, and later on they established their own regime and just overturned everything. So like that's a country where you know, after a bit, there can be an election and the fascists can be voted out. But if you are one of these countries, you should get a decision to like establish the fascist regime or whatever, and turn yourself into a literal fascist dictatorship. What's liberalism looking like? Meh. A few countries. Then there's a few reactionaries, obviously the Chinese, and a bunch of socialists. Now, socialist in this game just means social democratic, so it's not like, you know, revolutionary socialist or anything. Yeah, there we are. What else is cool? Oh yeah, you can see who made which political reforms. So like you can see, for example, Paraguay and El Salvador are totalitarian states. Then there's a few federations. Germany is a federation. Yeah, Germany is a federation. So Bundesrepublik. Bundesrepublik time. A bunch of unitaries. And a few countries are still in regionalism. Yeah. Then there's which colonial policies, but we don't particularly care about that. Borders. We don't particularly care about that. What's a real meme? Political rights. Draft. Who's like drafting people a bunch? All the fascist countries. Only underground political parties in a bunch of places. Holy shit. Yeah, not a lot of people did a lot of democratic reforms. Trade unions. Only a few countries allow trade unions. Press rights. Damn, most people have free press. Then you have public meetings, but you can't even see that. Then there's the voting system. A lot of first past the post, a lot of proportional. All the upper house stuff. Voting franchise. Is anyone doing some real meme shit? Yeah, like for example, a lot of South American countries still only have like wealth voting. A bunch of countries obviously have no voting because they're a dictatorship. Does anyone still allow slavery? North Yemen, Persia, Sikkim, and Xinjiang. Fascist slavery, Jesus Christ. And then you can see obviously social reform. Like who still has child labor legal? The Ottoman Empire, of course, and Haiti, of course. And Nejd, of course, because, you know, communists, they really like child labor. Penal system, school system. Who's got no school system? A bunch of people, apparently. Like, fucking Iceland with 100% literacy, no school system. It's all homeschool people. Healthcare, yeah. No pensions. Unemployment, safety regulations. Most people stayed on unlimited workday. A few 8 hours, especially on the communist side of things. And the UK actually had 8-hour workday. Insane. And you can see who's the best suck them with minimum wages. And then you can see like the populations of singular singular pops. Like who's got the most slaves? It's Persia. Who's got the most soldiers? It's China. Who's got the most officers? It's China. Who's got the most laborers? It's China. Who's got the most farmers? It's China. Who's got the most craftsmen? It's the United States, because they're the most industrialized. Who's got the most clerks? It's the United States. Who's got the most intellectuals? It's us. Who's got the most capitalists? It's the Japanese. That's fucking weird. Who's got the most bureaucrats? Obviously that's us, because we've been focusing them half the game. Most artisans? Us, and not the Chinese, apparently. And most landowners? Us, and not the Chinese, apparently. That's honestly, I was expecting the Chinese to have most and everything, but I guess since we did a really good job at unifying everything. Who's got the most serfs? Reiwa. Fucking Reiwa. Our little one province, like, little shit thing. And then you can see all of our provinces. These are only our provinces. So you can see which provinces of which ideology. Most of them are socialist, apparently. We're just a really, really social democratic country. Indian National Congress, you know, taking over everything. And you can see which issue these people care about the most. And apparently unemployment subsidies for a lot of these. Incarcerate. A lot of people don't want to be fucking sent to the penal colonies. And a few people are pro-military. Wow. That's weird, because socialist. Like, they've got the socialist ideology, but they're also pro-military. That's supposed to be the opposite. The socialists are anti-military, but whatever. You can see which countries of which, or sorry, which provinces of which culture, and it's hilarious because we have a North Italian state. It's Misurata, which is in Libya. Misurata, which is in Libya. Karen, obviously that's in Burma. Berbers, obviously that's in Libya too. Bedouins, Libya. Any other like big memes? Penang actually is mostly Yue, which is Southern Chinese. I've actually got Tibetans up there. Telugus, Tamils. A lot of South Han. Oh, Singapore is majority South Han culture, apparently. So the Southern Chinese, they've been traveling around. You can see which religions around. Obviously, most of them are going to be Hindu. A few Buddhists, a few Protestants in Raipur and Madras. That's probably because of all the English influence out there. And you can also see the literacy of the provinces. For example, like Mysore has 0 literacy, while Madras has 99%. Then Sunni. Lots of Sunni. Love it. Literacy. Which provinces are cool? El Arish. That's in fucking Libya. Dhaka. Chittagong. Then there's a bunch of provinces that are just fucking backwater. Total backwater. And then you can see the militancy and consciousness, like how much do they want to kill you? A lot. And you can see the most populous states. In fact, yeah. I want to check out what the fuck is up with Madras being Protestant. Like, what the hell? They're Tamil. Tamil Protestants? Apparently it's these Anglo-fucking Indians. Oh, some Anglo-Indians actually do exist, apparently. So Anglo-Indians are coming around. Let's check out the whole country. Do we actually have enough Anglo-Indians to... Yeah, 1% Anglo-Indian. So our primary culture, which is Anglo-Indian, is coming up. See, like, okay, that's hilarious, though, because that means that our country, like, despite the fact that we had the Socialist Revolution and the Republic being created, we never actually switched from Anglo-Indian culture, which means that, like, the people leading around are all, like, acting British, even though they're, you know, Indian, or they're straight up just British, but acting a little bit more Indian. So we still keep this sort of weird fusion going. I wonder which provinces have the most Anglo-Indians. Well, I don't think that that's something that the game can show you. Like, which provinces have the most, like, English people? We have Albanians in Misurata. Why are there Albanians in Libya? Oh, the Ottoman Empire, right. They start with Albania, right. They had internal migration. Apparently there's 100 Albanian farmers in Misurata. Yeah, like, for example, Calcutta has a lot of Anglo-Indians. Pontianak also has a lot of Anglo-Indians. Is that not out here? Holy shit, that chart. Yeah, 9% Anglo-Indian. Amazing. How about Calcutta? What's the percentage of Anglo-Indians here? 2%. Insane. Yeah, and there's a bunch of really weird culturist charts because our cultures are just kind of mixing around. Like, our people are migrating through our country, like, just fucking massively. And so this India is going to be relatively insane, or would be relatively insane if the game continued. Like, for example, the Kashmiris have been outnumbered by migrants by far in their own fucking land. Look at that chart. And this is probably, like, causing insane... Yeah, oh my god, that's so awesome. Look at that, 28% Bengalis in fucking Hong Kong. We overran Hong Kong with Indian people. and probably Shanghai too. Holy shit, Shanghai truly an Indo-Chinese city, and Jiaxing even more. Like holy crap! Like look at that chart. That's awesome. And yeah, I remember that we were also like partially overrunning the United States, but I don't know if you can see like the population, like the culture chart of the United States, unfortunately. Going back to the ledger, what else is there to see? Which like provinces of which pops. You can obviously see that. Province population, income, which province is Chittagong, East Bengal. Interesting. Ooh, that's actually really, really useful. I need that for another thing. Factory production. Yeah, we have 760 income from that. Yeah, that actually does not go over like the RGO income. Then you can see the price history, like which prices are rising and falling. And there we go, back to the nation ranking. And now we can click quit. And as you can see, that's the end screen. We invented 125 technologies, 362 inventions. We have 142 provinces. We have, see, now it reverts back to the older one. We have 405 million people. And we ended up, that's not 26%. That chart is bugged. 36, yeah, most of the population is socialist. 7% fascist. 4% communist. Yeah, that's basically about it. We're number 3. So that's the end of the series. I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you soon. And I guess have a good one. Stay tuned for more Victoria 2, because it will come.